Hello! Thank you for clicking on my video. This is the first video I've ever made about knitting, and we'll see how many people watch it if I ever do another one again. But basically, I have been knitting for a year now, and I wanted to document how much progress I've made in a year of knitting, maybe inspire some other people, or just I'm proud of myself, so I wanted to document that. So without further ado, I will start out by showing what I have made in the past year. So the first project, and I should share my my Instagram is sarah.handmakes. I don't know what the name of this YouTube channel will be yet, but probably very similar. So if you ever are interested in more details about one of my makes, I usually put a lot in there. I'll also link my Ravelry. I'll also have in the description details of all the patterns and the yarns. I might not be the best about saying them while I'm talking, but please just go check below. So without further ado, we'll start out with my first project. So I started with a cardigan. That's the first thing I ever made. I completed this in September 2022. I started it in July 2022, and it's just a seamed cardigan. I think it's maybe a worsted weight yarn. It's acrylic. And I still like the fit of this. I definitely wouldn't make anything like it now. I don't love the seamed construction, and the yarn does not feel good after I've knit with wool for a while, but it's still nice. Proud of this piece. I do not remember the designer's name right now, but I will put it in the description. So yeah, first make, not horrible. The next thing I ever made, I jumped pretty quickly to a colorwork sweater. I don't know why I was so brave, but so I made this little guy, which used intarsia. It's got the double folded neckband. Again, acrylic yarn. I think maybe a DK weight, but very cute. All pink in the back. I'll try it on. One thing that makes me laugh now about these two projects is it turns out I was purling wrong. So all of my pearls are twisted, which I will show you. Yeah, it's hard to get over your head, but here it is on. It's still kind of cute, honestly. But you can see, let's see if it'll focus, all of the pearls are twisted. So this is a knit row and this was a purl row, and I twisted all of them. So we corrected that after this sweater, but my first two garments have that on it. And I'm referencing a little list over here. So if you notice I'm looking over, that's why. So yeah, first two garments. I really started very strong with a lot of sweaters. The next thing I made was this sweater, which it's a pattern from Wool and the Gang. I think it's called the watermelon sweater. Again, using acrylic yarn. This is a bulky weight. I think I'll die if I put it on, but it's very hot. But it's very cute still. I do hate it's also seamed, and the seams are very bulky, so it's kind of difficult to wear. You can really feel where the seams are, so looks cute. I don't think I'll ever wear this again, but it was a very fun thing to make, and I fixed my purling in this one, so good job me. The next thing I made, again, a lot of sweaters immediately. I've branched out since then. And I think there were some Christmas knits in between the watermelon sweater and this cardigan. I just don't have them, obviously. They were gifts, so I think I made some hats. Potentially, I might have one of them. Oh yeah, I made this hat. It's very flopsy. It was a free pattern. It's a great pattern. And again, in acrylic yarn, actually the same yarn as this sweater. I used the extras to make a little hat. And I ended up making like 3 or 4 of these for Christmas. They were a great gift. Very easy to make. I think it's like size 11 needles, so very quick. Yeah, might have been a couple other Christmas accessories, but nothing major. And then I made this cardigan. It was a Wool and the Gang kit. It's made with their Mohair. It's got buttons and goes all the way down. It's pretty long, you can see. And I like the stripes a lot. I don't love the neckline on this one. I've tried to put elastic through it and didn't really help a lot. It just sits kind of weird. Buttons kind of sit weird. Kind of looks weird if you do that. So I don't know. Don't love this one, but I learned a lot from it. I learned how to do the stripes where I just kept bringing them up. I, you know, added on a button band and a neck band, made buttonholes. So great learning project. Final outcome, just really oversized. I actually even had to go back and shrink the sleeve. So I had to cut out some yarn and just reduce it by one stripe because of how long it was. So it's an okay sweater. It's very warm and I'm proud that I did it. I learned a lot. And again, seamed cardigan. That was a lot. So yeah, good make. Would not make it again. And I don't wear it a lot, but do love it. And then I made this cardigan, which I still do wear. It is a We Are Knitters kit. It's called the Banana Cardigan, and I would never make this again. It's seamed, and I just hate seamed. It's also a bulky weight yarn. It's their Petite Wool, so I don't love working with that at this point. But it's really pretty. It has their unicorn yarn, so it's really pretty. It's nice to throw on, you know, if I'm just going out for a couple of hours and it's a little chilly. It's nice. It goes down over my butt, so good garment. But again, fully seamed and a bulky weight. And I should mention maybe the timeline. That one I knit in January, so we're into 2023 at this point. The first ones were all 2022. 2023 banana cardigan, and then the next thing I made, which I've worn once, I don't like the way it looks, is this, I don't even know which one's the front and back, I don't think it really matters. This is another We Are Knitters kit. It's called the Papaya sweater, and something about it just, I feel like a clown. I don't know. I think it's the high contrast between the colors, and it's really bulky. It's got this boat neckline, which kind of looks weird. Or I feel like I look like muscle fiber of a human. I don't know. Something about it I really don't like. I could reverse it, but then this side, I don't know. Don't love the way it looks, but I learned the brioche stitch from it and used brioche a lot, so it made me very confident in that stitch. So I appreciate the garment for that, and I have to figure out what to do with it now because I'm never gonna wear it again. But I don't want to donate it. The sleeves were too tight when I started seaming everything together, so I had to add in this weird knit column, which took a lot of math. I had to use the Pythagorean theorem to figure out how many stitches. But yeah, I don't know. A good techniques knit. It was helpful to use the big yarn at first when you're learning brioche. Don't know what to do with it now, but I love it for what it is. And someday I will let it go, but at this point I'll just store it. It's fine. Awesome. After that, I did make a pair of beginner socks. I've since frogged them. They were, I think, a worsted weight yarn and acrylic yarn, and it was just so I could learn how to do the heel flap and gusset. And they were kind of a sensory nightmare on my feet. I could feel every stitch when I walked, and they were way too big, so have since frogged, but learned a lot from them. And then right after I made those beginner socks, which I will link the pattern again, I made these. And these are the I'm So Basic socks by Summer Lee, the queen of sock knitting. They're great. I wear them to the movies constantly. I live right next to a movie theater, so I'll put on my Birkenstocks and wear these, and I'm nice and cozy during the movie. They have just the slip stitch heel, very simple construction. They've worn pretty well. I've worn them quite a few times. I made these probably back in March, and they've only got, you know, a tiny bit of, I wouldn't even call this felting, it's just pilling or fluffing. So yeah, great knit. I do have two of them. There we go. Awesome. And they were really fun. I, after that, ended up making a pair of socks in the same yarn for one of my friends. I had enough, and they were the Totally Rad ribbed socks by Summerlee. I love those. I think I want to make a pair for myself, but they turned out so great for her. And then I also made a lace motif sock for my mom. Both super great knits. That's not on this list. This is just the things I have in front of me, but both really fun. Next thing, which I was so proud of this. This is the sweater number 15 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. It is beautiful. I love the yarn choice that I made as far as colors. It was this like really, they call the color rose gold. It was just a really bright pink from Yarnalia. It's their baby alpaca. I'd never heard of this brand, but I kept getting ads, and it's pretty well priced yarn. So it's a lace weight from them, and then just some drop kid silk mohair in a slightly lighter pink. So it made this, let's see if I can get an up close. It made this like really pretty, slightly variegated color motif. I love the cables. They look so great. I remember I took this on a business trip with me, which it was a very stressful trip, and so I was just like stress knitting this the whole time. When I had a spare moment, like the flight back, I was just working on this. So I love the way this sweater looks. I love the tubular, or not the I love the twisted rib. I love the tubular bind off on the end. I feel like I did a really good job on that. Unfortunately, this garment's really itchy. I think I at first thought it was the baby alpaca yarn, but after I've knit another garment with Drops Kid Silk Mohair, I think I just think Drops Kid Silk Mohair is itchy. So I have to wear a turtleneck under this one or wear it for very short periods of time, which makes me very sad. It's so beautiful. I've tried soaking it with some white vinegar. I've tried kind of lathering conditioner into it. I've tried freezing it. Still a little bit itchy. I think I just need to wear it, which is hard to do when it's itchy. So, oh yeah, and you can see my little swatch of it up there. So yeah, unfortunately a little bit itchy, but I still love it. It's still beautiful. I learned how to cable. This was a really great construction. I think one day I'll make the pattern again, but don't know when. So yeah, very beautiful knit, and this is my favorite, like, show it off knit, take pictures in it. If I'm like, oh, I'm a knitter, I'll send a picture of this, but then, you know, the amount I actually wear it is minimal, sadly. All right, and that was February. I know I'm intermittently adding timelines, but I hope you all will bear with me if anyone's watching, as I figure out, you know, what to include while I'm talking and all of that. This is completely new, and hopefully, you know, if people watch and I enjoy doing this, I can upgrade my setup as well. So I hope there's not too much background noise. You might hear my AC or something, but I really appreciate anyone bearing with me for my first time doing this, and I swear if I like this and other people like this, the quality will improve. Oh yeah, I recently tied this together. So the next thing I made is the Wrap Me Up cardigan by Plummum. I saw Laura of Penrose Knits make this, and I loved it. So I also wanted one. And bear with me, I'm trying to get it on. I've been wearing it to work and it gapes at the top a little bit, so I had to tie some extra string in to stop that from happening. And what the heck? Okay, here we go. So it's a basic wrap cardigan. It's a lovely fit. I modified it by taking off the sleeves, or just shortening the sleeves a lot. I was running out of yarn. So here, let's see if I can get a better angle of it so you can see. Yep, goes to there, and then, you know, has the nice I-cord bind offs, some nice ribbing, and yeah, it's a very cute garment. I used CaMaRose Midnatssol, I think that's how it's pronounced, for this, and love that yarn. I've used it a couple times since then. It's very tolerable to me. Like I mentioned, the mohair was really itchy, so I prefer to use Midnattsol is what I've used so far. I also have some Surrey I'm really excited to try, since I've heard a lot of people say they tolerate that better if they find mohair itchy or if they're allergic to mohair. So yeah, Wrap Me Up cardigan. Great knit, super quick, feels great, very wearable, which was amazing. I'd made, you know, 5 knits in a row, whereas like I loved making this, but I don't know how much I'll wear it. You know, it's itchy or it's just really bulky. I don't like the fit. So that was the first one where I finished it and I was like, oh my God, yay! And wore it a bunch of times in a row because I was so excited that I'd made something that I really felt good on my body. I felt like flattered my waist. So great, like confidence inspiring knit. The next thing I made the Cumulus blouse, and I actually, so I'd had another We Are Knitters kit for a seamed sweater out of their bamboo, and they sell a fingering weight bamboo. It's really nice, it's kind of splitty, but I decided I'm done with seaming garments. I only want to do seamless as much as I can, and so I was looking around for a pattern where I could use some fingering weight yarn, and I decided I really liked the look of the Cumulus blouse and I could just adapt it to be with this bamboo instead of using mohair like the pattern recommends. So I learned a lot about, sorry, it's on backwards. I learned a lot in this garment about substituting yarn and some of the things that can go wrong with that. I still really love it. It's so comfortable. I will talk about the color in a second, but to start, yeah, what I learned is there was a reason this pattern was written for mohair, because mohair hides a lot more than this, you know, bamboo does. So you can see, you know, where I picked up stitches around the neck and it made these holes that don't really bother me. I mostly wear this to go to a Pilates class or something, to throw something on over my workout top, or, you know, might wear it to work, but I work in a really casual environment. So yeah, you can see that a lot, and then you can really see, maybe you can't see in the camera, but to me it's pretty obvious the decreases down the sleeves. So yeah, overall I'm like, this is not my best work, but it was very fun and I do love the way this bamboo feels on my body. It was also originally this like very, they called the color salmon, but it was a very beigey color. Maybe I can insert a photo if I can figure out how to do that. But very beigey, and did not like that. I thought I would like it on, but I felt like it really washed me out, or it just looked weird. So I ended up spending like 2 weeks testing out different RIT dyes and other clothing dyes to see, could I dye this and what color do I want? So I ended up on the Sage Green, which was beautiful. I really like the color. I've since washed it after I dyed it and it faded out a little bit. I think I need to re-dye it, but it's still a really nice garment, very cozy, and for what I use it for, it doesn't need to look the best. So that's fine. But yeah, cute, right? I love the raglan seams on this. I'm actually going to make this pattern with CaMaRose Midnatssol soon. I have half the yarn I need, so I'll buy the rest and make it, because I just know I'd love it in a mohair as well, or the fluff as well. So great garment though, quick, fun pattern, comfy outcome, if not the prettiest, but you know, not everything has to be pretty. Next thing I made is the Sophie shell. It was very fun. It was infuriating because I ran out of yarn. Like, I had this much left and I ran out of yarn, and normally I wouldn't be upset about that, but I'd modified the pattern to have more increases because I'd been weighing my yarn and saw like, oh, I'm gonna have a quarter of a skein left and I don't want a quarter of a skein left, so I should just knit more increases so I have to do more decreases so that I use almost all the yarn. I don't know if the skeins were different weights or my scale was off, but I ended up running out of yarn right at the end. And this is Drops Air, and I live in the US, so I had to order it from a Drops reseller on Etsy, so it took like 2 to 3 weeks. So it was very infuriating just having a tiny tail not done, but I like the garment a lot. It's kind of a weird size. It's not quite a shawl, but it's also, I guess it can be a scarf. I don't wear a lot of scarves. So it's cute as a scarf. It bunches up around your neck a lot. I could probably loosen it out. I've also, when I've worn it to work, I'll wear it with like a white button down. I've ended up just kind of tying it in the front of me like this. And I think that's cute too. It kind of looks like an Outlander shawl. I haven't seen that show, but I know they wear that. So I like that. And it's so comfy. I really do love this yarn. It's so cozy, so love it. Fit, it's weird dimensions, but I love the color. As you can probably tell from my pile of knitwear, I really like pink. So that goes into that as well. And it's a great garment for me. Next thing I made, oh gosh, I can only find one. Well, okay, you're only seeing one of the hand warmers, but I made the weekend hat by Petite Knit in this yarn, and then also a set of hand warmers in the same yarn. So this was a DK weight, and I love this yarn because my cat looks the exact same as the yarn. I, for a couple weeks, had been saying I really want cat yarn. This was right around my birthday, so in March, that I really want yarn that could look like my cat, and I could make a pair of socks so that, you know, we could match. That'd be so cute. And then on my birthday, I was out yarn shopping. 'Cause that's what I love to do. So was out at one of the yarn stores in Denver. It's called Lamb Shop. It's beautiful if you have a chance to go. And stumbled across this hand dyer called Road Trip Sock Yarn, or it might just be Road Trip Yarn. I'll add the information in the description, but amazing person. And she dyes yarn based on shelter cats in Denver. So she works with Dumb Friends League, which is a local shelter, and takes photos of the cats that are there that haven't been adopted for a while, and then dyes some skeins to match the cats, and a portion of the proceeds go to the kitties. So great idea. I love it. I love that it matched my cat. I'll try to insert a photo of her, but if you go to my Instagram, I have a bunch of pictures of her along with the hat and the hand warmers. So very fun. And I ended up doing these in April or maybe May because I wanted to participate in the special skein knit along from Carsley Handmade. So very fun. And Birch and Lily. Very fun project. It was fun. It was my first knit along that I participated in, and it was fun to do something along with everyone else. And I'm really excited to wear these. Obviously I made it in May, so I haven't really gotten a chance to wear the hat and the mitts, but I will soon. So sweet. Next thing I made is the 7 p.m. tank. I cannot try this on because I'm wearing a shirt, and it's a tank top, but this is the 7 p.m. tank by Tiff Knit. It is wonderful. So it's a negative ease garment. I made it in this wonderful, I forget the exact blend, but it had some cashmere in it. It was mostly wool, had a little bit of cashmere and maybe some silk. By Rainbow Peak Yarns. She is another local hand dyer, so based in Colorado, and she does a lot of really colorful skeins. So this is one of her more muted skeins, but I love how it looks. And so it's got this ribbon panel at the back to really cinch in, and it's really beautiful. It's got double knitting on the edges so that it doesn't roll up. It's got some nice darts, so this was a very well constructed garment. I've got to say it was a pain to make. I was using US 1 needles, and part of the construction is you make 4 panels in, you know, straight back and forth knitting. And so it was a lot of purling on tiny, tiny needles. So I was dealing with some finger pain and some wrist pain after this garment, but it's so beautiful. It was definitely worth it. I also did the modification that Tiffany suggests of adding in bra straps that are adjustable. You know, this little tiny double knit strap is going to stretch out over time, so I just on Amazon got some detachable. They don't need to be detachable. You could also just repurpose an old bra, but got some detachable bra straps so I could put them in and out, sewed on some elastic and attached it that way, and then I've reinforced everything with some sewing as well. So well constructed and is gonna stand the test of time because I can cinch it back in. So love this. And I'll see if I can insert a photo of me wearing it so I'm not just holding it up the whole time, but again, we'll see. All right, and then I have to grab something. This is an almost finished object, but at the time that I marked it as complete on Ravelry, I thought it was, and it is a wearable garment. I just need to replace the buttons, but this is the April cardigan by Petite Knit. It's beautiful. I mean, can we have a moment for the yarn? Look at her, so pretty. So this was my first time using hand-dyed yarn for a full garment. Well, I guess I made the 7 p.m. tank, but you know, a substantial garment. So this was 2 skeins of the Yarn Addicts wool base. It was 100% non-superwash wool, and it was in petal perch. Beautiful color, again, pink, with these nice dreamy variegated pinks, and I paired it with Drops Mohair. So this garment's also a little bit itchy, but it's a little bit better, I think, because it's a fingering weight that I paired it with, so there's more wool to mohair, if that makes sense. So I can kind of get used to it, but it's definitely a little bit itchy. I actually tried to shave the inside even, which made it a little bit better. So this is more wearable, especially it's a cardigan, so I'm always gonna wear something under it. And the reason I say it's not fully finished is because I want to replace the buttons. I think they look really cheap. But overall, really love this. I did the modification that a lot of people do. So the April cardigan typically has a ribbed button band. I decided I wanted to do double knit, so I found some tutorials of how to do that, and I did it, and I think it looks really great. Very happy with the finished outcome. I kind of wish I made it a little bit longer. I do this a lot. I think a lot of knitters do this, where I get very bored of just knitting body, so I cropped it. I also was expecting my ribbing to grow lengthwise, and it ended up growing more widthwise, so I tried to make it a little bit longer, but did not work out for me. But it's still very wearable. I almost exclusively wear high-waisted pants, so it's fine. But yeah, love it. I'm really excited to wear it a lot. Again, I made this in June, so silly time to make a cardigan, but I've actually been able to wear it once. Colorado has had a lot of rain, so I was able to wear it once, and I'm really excited to start wearing it in the fall. So great garment. And then we're almost done. The next thing I made, this was so exciting for me. This was my first test knit, and I made, this is called the Eco Tank by Contour Knit on Instagram. Her name's Sharon, and she was lovely to work with. The test knit's still going on, so I think the pattern's coming out sometime in August. I cropped the body and I knit a lot, and I knit pretty quickly, so I finished it, I think, a week or 2 weeks early for the test knit. But here, let me show you the details of this. I love this detail to really, I feel like it's so flattering. It really shapes your bust. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's a great pattern. I like the square neckline. I think that this is going to be a really great garment for me to wear to work. I've worn it a couple times. I'll put like an open button over with it and some linen pants, and it's made of the Knitting for All of Pure Silk, so it's so wearable. Love it. And I'm excited to wear it more in the next few months. And yeah, I did again crop it a little bit more than I meant to, but I wear high-waisted pants. It's fine. And my work is not very picky, so if when I'm moving around there's a centimeter of skin out, it's fine. So very happy with this and very excited for the pattern to come out and see everyone else knitting it. But it was such an exciting first test knit. Sharon was lovely. Getting to talk to some of the other knitters was lovely, and posting. I felt like a real community member for knitting, to be like, oh, look at my test knit. So love all of that. Great garment, great experience. Finally, the last thing I made, it's on my head, but I also have a tiny one, so I'll show you the tiny one. This is the Low Key bandana by Low Key Bold Knit. So this is going to be a free pattern that comes out soon. This is another test knit, so it was very fun. Simona, her name's Simona, just wanted one test knit or maybe two, since it's a free pattern. Doesn't want to put a lot of work into it, but wanted to make sure dimensions work correctly. So this is the Low Key bandana, and it's kind of taken over my mind. So you can see I made one for myself, and I should probably just take it off, but I don't want to. Added an applied I-cord edge, so the I-cord goes all the way around, and then there's two straps to tie it around my head. So I made that for myself. I did modify her pattern a little bit. I used DK weight bamboo yarn instead of the sport cotton she used. And because I sized up the yarn, I sized up needles. So I made this on a 4mm or a US 6. So I finished mine. I was obsessed. I felt kind of bad for not testing off her bind off method though. She recommends that Icelandic bind off, which I'd never used before, so I wanted to, you know, be a good test knitter and actually try that out. So I decided to make my cat a little bandana. And so she looks so cute in it. I'll try to insert a photo, but it can tie around her neck, and she looks like a little baby, and we match. So that's really sweet. I finished this on Wednesday, both of them on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, maybe Friday, but very recently, I had more of this yarn in another color. So this is the Lion Brand True Blue, and so this is, I forget the sienna, clay, I don't know. I'll insert the color, or it'll be in the description, but this is one of the colors from Lion Brand True Blue, and I had another color in this very, very bright green, and I decided to make one of my friends, who I actually made the socks for her before, a bandana like mine, so with the applied I-cord, and a bandana for her dog. She has a German Shepherd Border Collie mix, so he's a pretty big boy. And he's mostly black, so I think he's gonna look really great in the lime green, and I'm really excited for them to match, and us to kind of match too. You know, we'll have the same pattern in a different color. So yeah, it has really, the stitch pattern on the bandana is kind of addictive. It's very fun, and I love the way it looks. It looks, you know, like rattan or cane to me, so very excited. I keep thinking of other things I want to make with this, and like seeing, could I hack it to make circular knitting work, and could I make a bag or something. I saw my mom yesterday actually, and she had this, this is the We Are Knitters bamboo, it's a fingering weight, and she was like, can you make me a scarf with the same stitch pattern? So she gave me these to make her a scarf as well out of this. So I think this stitch pattern has kind of taken over my life lately, which is great. I'm excited. It's very fun to knit. It looks beautiful. It's really quick. Like I said, I made this in maybe 2 days, and this took me an hour, so very addictive knit. If you get a chance to knit it when it comes out, I highly suggest it. So yeah, that's kind of it for my first video. We'll see if this ever gets posted, but you know, if it did get posted and you are watching it, thank you. I really appreciate it. Please give me a comment. Have you ever made any of these patterns before? How long have you been knitting? I would love to hear more. Like I mentioned with the test knit that I was talking about, I'm really trying to get more into the knitting community. So I'm just excited to interact with people. So please drop me a comment. My Instagram will be below too, so come over there, say hi there. I would just love to connect with you. So thanks for watching. Bye.